Welcome to Spectrum News at 4. I am Janice Cobham, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari attends Liberia's 175th independence anniversary today. NLC warns of 3-day national warning strike if federal government fails to act. Plus, UK set for slowest growth of G7 economies in 2023. We will bring you details of these headlines and other stories in a moment. First in the news is a report that President Buhari is in Liberia to attend the country's 175th independence anniversary celebrations. The senior special assistant to the President for Publicity, Garba Shehu, confirmed this in a statement, saying President Buhari, who will be the special guest of honor at the event, will join other world leaders and organizations to rejoice with the people of Liberia at the event. Reports say after participating in the independence program, President Buhari is expected back in the country later in the day. Recall that Nigeria played a leading role in the stabilization of the West African nation in the early 90s, leading to the establishment of democratic rule, and has continued to assist the country in many ways, especially through the Technical Aid Corps scheme. Accompanying the president to his trip are the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, and Director General, National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmed Abubakar. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has forwarded the name of the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, to the Senate for immediate confirmation of his appointment. His request for the confirmation of the appointment of Justice Ariwola as CJN was contained in a letter that was read on the floor of the Senate during plenary sessions at the National Assembly in Abuja. According to the executive communication, the President forwarded the names of 5 nominees for the Senate for confirmation of appointment as non-executive directors of the Board of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He also sent to the Senate a list of 19 nominees for confirmation as resident electoral commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission. 5 of the resident electoral commissioners nominee are for renewal of appointments, while 14 are for fresh appointments. In the legislature now, a bill seeking to include teachings against breast and cervical cancers into the curriculum of all senior secondary schools in Nigeria has gone through second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill, which is sponsored by the Chairman House Committee on Health Care Services, Tanko Sununu, and co-sponsored by the Chairman House Committee on Basic Education, Professor Julius Inho Bere, is part of the OCI Foundation's arm of our Youth Anti-Cancer Health Campaign, an initiative targeting youth in Nigerian senior secondary schools and the National Youth Service Corps. Already in partnership with Nigeria NYSC, the OCI Foundation is annually delivering the same anti-cancer campaign to hundreds of thousands of Nigerian fresh graduates, youth corps members in all the 37 NYSC orientation camps in Nigeria. The ROI Health Campaigns enjoys the support of the First Lady Aisha Buhari, whose NGO, the Future Assured Foundation, is partnering with the OCI Foundation on the bill. In the meantime, a UK court has granted bail to the wife of Senator Ikekwe Beatrice, who is being held alongside her husband in the United Kingdom. The court, however, refused to grant bail to her husband. Recall that Ikekwe, a former deputy president of the Senate, was detained alongside his wife over allegation of a plot to traffic a man into the UK to harvest a kidney for their daughter. According to reports, 55-year-old Beatrice is charged for arranging or facilitating the travel of another person with a view to exploitation between August 1, 2021 and May 5, 2022 under the Modern Slavery Act 2015. The Common Sergeant of London, Richard Marks, granted the bail to Beatrice subject to some fairly stringent conditions. The The prosecutors did not appeal the decision of the court. In education, the National Examination Council (NECO) has deployed cutting-edge software to ensure efficient grading of students, candidates in its various examinations. The Registrar and Chief Executive of NECO, Professor Dantani Wushushi, stated this in a press statement issued to mark his 1 year in office. Speaking on the new grading system, Wushishi, who listed several achievements recorded since assuming office, said the software would ensure precise grade value for every subject. He also lamented that the initial placement of NECO on the list of ministries, departments and agencies that remit 25% of generated revenue to government coffers took a toll on the exams body's activities. In the meantime, Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has warned that federal government should brace for a 3-day nationwide strike across all sectors if the crisis in the nation's public universities is left unresolved. Scores of unions in various critical sectors such as aviation, electricity and petroleum, among others, are affiliated with the labor union. NLC President Ayuba Waba gave the warning today during a televised interview amid the protests by members of the union across the country. Highlighting the importance of the protest, he said the protest was first to show workers' concern and to also call for urgent action to resolve the issues.
Put it solidarity. It's a protest by NLC for ourselves, because all the affiliate unions and their members are members of NLC. We have taken three levels of decision. Okay. First is the protest, which is going to be national. Okay. After the protest is 3 days national warning strike. If it fails, then we'll go perpetual. That is the decision of our National Executive Council. And therefore, I think what will even be very helpful is for them to look at the timeline that we have set for those issues to be sorted out. Already out of even 2 weeks, they proposed, 1 week have gone. And I've not seen anything on the table to try to resolve the issue. We are optimistic that they should be willing this time around, because we are also willing to get our children back to
Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons (NAPTIP) has raised the alarm over growing cases of fake foreign scholarship advertorials. NAPTIP said an increasing number of persons were being trafficked to foreign countries under the guise of schooling in foreign universities only to be forced into prostitutions. NAPTIP's Director General Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi said a lot of Nigerians were being trafficked to countries like North Cyprus using fake university scholarships. Away from that, now troops of the 7th Guard Brigade, which provides security for the presidential villa and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), have reportedly been attacked by gunmen suspected to be terrorists. Reports say they were ambushed while on patrol along the Buhari Road in the nation's capital. A spokesperson for the Guards Brigade, Captain Geoffrey Abakpa, confirmed the incident, noting that the attack was successfully repelled by the troops. Captain Abakpa said a few of the men who were wounded in action have been taken to a hospital where they were receiving treatment, adding that the troops were combing the general area to get rid of the criminals who have been threatening the area. He advised residents of Abuja to go about their lawful businesses and keep cooperating with the military to provide timely information to enable them curb the activities of the criminals. In another development, the Nigerian Union of Pensioners (NUP) Ekiti State Chapter has threatened to approach the court to compel the state governor, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, to pay their outstanding benefits before the expiration of his tenure in October. The NUP chairman, Joel Akinola, while addressing journalists at the press conference in Ado-Ekiti, said that as the outgoing government announced plans for payment of entitlements of all such political aids, the backlog of emoluments of the pensioners should be prioritized in good time. Akinola revealed that an aggregate of 587 pensioners are either dead or bedridden owing to infirmity suffered as a result of the inability to get the required treatment for their ailment. The chairman said the union had put its lawyers on notice over the alleged shabby treatment being meted out to them and that they might resort to litigation if their issues were not resolved expeditiously. On electoral matters, according to information displayed by the Independent National Electoral Commission, no fewer than 18 political parties are set to contest the governorship election in Sokoto State. Reports say 2 political parties are fielding 2 female deputy governorship candidates for the first time. They include Hananatu Mukhtar, who is the deputy governorship candidate on the platform of the Action People's Party, and Hawa Bello, who is the running mate on the platform of Allied People's Movement. Reports say, apart from the candidates of the All Progressive Congress and People's Democratic Party, which has Saidu Umar and Ahmed Sokoto, other political parties have also fielded their candidates for the elections. Still to come in the news, President Buhari hails Amusan, Brume over Oregon. Do stay with us. Thanks for being there. Now to the rest of our stories. In Africa, South Africa has officially requested the extradition of 2 Gupta brothers currently in the United Arab Emirates on charges of money laundering and fraud. South African Justice Minister Roland Lamola said Atul Gupta and Rajesh Gupta, commonly known as the Gupta brothers, are accused persons in 2 criminal matters by the United Arab Emirates. Reports say the brothers were arrested in Dubai in June 2022 on the basis of an Interpol red notice launched by Pretoria. They are accused of having looted the country with the complicity of former President Jacob Zuma. Director of National Prosecuting Authority in South Africa, Shamila Batohi, has assured that the ID Investigative Directorate is working with relevant stakeholders to ensure that all the cases have the necessary resources and good support from the Department of Justice, adding that the extradition could take several months.
Gupta brothers, the United Arab Emirates, Mr. Atul Kumar Gupta and Mr. Rajay Kumar Gupta, commonly known as the Gupta brothers, are accused persons in 2 criminal matters.
Ensuring that all the cases have the necessary resources. We've had good support from the Department of Justice. We're working very, very well. The ID is working extremely well now with relevant stakeholders.
Away from that, Tunisians have voted to approve a draft constitution a year to the day after President Said sacked the government and froze parliament. Numbers released by the Electoral Authority suggest turnout was 27.5% out of 9.3 million registered voters. President of the Electoral Authority, Farouk Bouaska, announced that it is an approximate percentage which will certainly increase. taking into consideration that there are polling stations that still receive voters. Observers claim that turnout was higher than expected, showing that Sai continues to enjoy personal popularity almost 3 years into his mandate. On the foreign scene, the next Prime Minister will have to deal with a tough economic picture, whether it is Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak. The International Monetary Fund has warned that the UK is set for the slowest growth of the G7 richest economies next year. The next Tory leader and Prime Minister will be inheriting an economy with a much slower growth rate than what was forecast in April. The IMF is predicting that UK growth will fall to just 0.5% in 2023, much lower than its forecast in April of 1.2%. The IMF said the global economy has shrunk for the first time since 2020, hit by the Ukraine war and COVID. It was said with growth stalling in the UK, US, China, and Europe, the world may soon to be teetering on the edge of a global recession. And still on the foreign scene, the United States is preparing for China's angry response over its support for Taiwan, a self-governing island that Beijing claims as its own territory. Last week, China warned against the potential high-stakes trip by U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi to Taipei. Following reports of Pelosi's plans, China's foreign ministry has reportedly vowed to take resolute and forceful measures if the trip goes ahead. U.S. President Joe Biden has told reporters that the U.S. military thinks Taiwan visit by Pelosi is not a good idea right now. However, Pelosi said it's important to show support for Taiwan, but declined to discuss any travel plans, citing security. Although China has not disclosed what forceful measures it is planning to take, some Chinese experts say Beijing's reaction could involve a military component, as the situation between China and the U.S. will be very tense. In our business news, the founder of satellite company Starlink, Elon Musk, has revealed when the company's operations will start in Nigeria, as the firm prepares to compete against MTN Nigeria, Airtel, Globacom, and Nine Mobile. Musk, via his Twitter account, disclosed that Starlink service will commence next month, August 2022, in Nigeria, 3 months after the world's richest man informed his 102 million followers on Twitter that the government had approved its operations. The company is currently operational in 36 countries with 1,469 active satellites in operations as of January's report, serving over 400,000 subscribers globally. However, it expects 4,200 satellites in operations within 18 months, as disclosed by Musk in March 2022. Still in business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has disbursed 68.13 billion naira to beneficiaries under its 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity since the commencement of the intervention. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, disclosed this in Lagos after the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting, noting that the bank has released 9.98 billion naira for 5 projects, bringing the cumulative disbursement under the intervention to 68.13 billion naira for 48 projects, comprising 26 in manufacturing, 17 in agriculture, 3 in healthcare, and 2 in the services sector. According to the guidelines for the implementation of the initiative, the CBN fixed the maximum loan amount that a participant could get at 5 billion naira. The Apex Bank said the initiative would be complemented in collaborating with relevant stakeholders with a focus on micro and macroeconomics impact in terms of contribution to GDP and exports, sustainable job created, local content development, production output, capacity utilization, and integration into the global value chain. In health, the federal government has said it has developed a national strategic framework for eliminating viral hepatitis in the country by 2030. The federal government said the framework is in line with the global health sector strategy for viral hepatitis control. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja in commemoration of the 2022 World Hepatitis Day, the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, said that Nigeria is one of the first countries to have achieved this in a short time. Enshrined, Ehanire said nearly 20 million people are infected with hepatitis B or C. According to him, viral hepatitis remains a public health threat, especially hepatitis B and C, which cause chronic infections with attendant morbidity and mortality. He, however, said despite the significant rates of infection, there is a very low awareness about the infection and called on Nigerians to get tested. Still in health, about 150 women's rights and civil society organizations have urged the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to lift the suspension of the state's guidelines on safe termination of pregnancy for legal indications issued by the Directorate of Family Health and Nutrition in the Ministry of Health. Recall that the Lagos State Governor Sanwo-Olu had on July 8, 2022, directed the suspension of the state's guidelines, saying the new guidelines would not be implemented until adequate deliberations. Before that, the Lagos State government had on June 29, 2022, presented and launched the 40-page policy document. However, making the call on the Lagos State Governor at a press briefing organized by the Women Advocates Research and Documentation Center, the women's group said 10% of the global maternal death rate comes from unsafe abortions in Nigeria, making it the second leading cause of maternal mortality in the country. Speaking on behalf of the women's group and CSOS, Executive Director of WADAC, Dr. Abiola Akiyode Afolabi, noted that the guidelines seek to save women from preventable deaths.
Ensure that termination of pregnancy is professionally standardized and regulated. And that if we do not do this, just as we have had a very bad record of quite a number of people, particularly teenagers, young women, who die as a result of unsafe abortion, we will continue to have this bad record of deaths that we see on a daily basis.
There are all the issues that are existing. It's just a compilation of all these issues that are in the document so that it can be standardized across board. And also for new medical practitioners coming into on board will know the cases in which.
In sports, President Muhammadu Buhari has celebrated winner of the 100 meters hurdles gold at the World Athletic Championship 2022, Toby Amusan, thanking her for promoting Nigeria's image on world stage. Also, the president congratulated another Nigerian star at the event, AC Brume, who won the silver medal in the women's long jump event. In a statement issued by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president said the achievements of the stars would encourage upcoming athletes to aspire higher. Recall that Amusan Sunday in Oregon, USA, became the first Nigerian to win a gold medal as she powered over the line at Hayward Field in 12.6 seconds at the final of the women's hurdle, 100 meters hurdle. Former 100-meter hurdle world champion, Jamaican Daniela Williams, has described Toby Amusan's world record and gold medal at the 2022 World Athletic Championship in Oregon, USA as amazing, adding that victory for the Nigerian after near-past misses showed her stellar performance. Meanwhile, Team Nigeria has ended their campaign at the 2022 World Athletics Championship in Oregon, USA, in the 18th place out of 43 countries which participated. Reports say that Toby Amusan's record-breaking performance in the 100 meters hurdle and Ise Brume's impressive efforts in the women's long jump ensured Nigeria finished on a high note. The victory for the team also meant Nigeria finished as the fourth best African team at the championships behind Ethiopia, Kenya, and Uganda. The US entered the competition with a total of 33 medals, more than 3 times as many as other countries in the competition and more than any single country has ever won at a world championship. Still in entertainment, a Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal sitting in Abuja has fixed September 6 for judgment in a suit filed against MultiChoice, the operators of GoTV and DSTV, over the recent price hike on their products and subscription rates. The tribunal, headed by Thomas Okusun, fixed the date after counsel for the parties presented their arguments for and against the matter. The lawyer in the latest originating summons is suing the firm, the operators of DSTV and GoTV, for 10 million naira damages. Onifade, in the amended originating summons dated June 17 but filed June 20, also sought the order of the tribunal directing and mandating MultiChoice to adopt a pay-as-you-go view model of billing for all its products and services forthwith. The respondents had praised the tribunal for an order restraining the firm from increasing its services and other products on April 1, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice, and the tribunal granted the ex parte motion directing parties to maintain status quo ante bellum. And that's all we have for you at the news on this time. Do ensure to follow us on all our socials and subscribe to our YouTube page, all of which you can find at spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at this hour. My name is Janice Cobham. Do have a good afternoon.